Hello and welcome. So this is our second in our three series webinars um, for for the new update. So this with last week we did allocation, sales order allocation. This week we're going to do repair orders, which is a new module. So bear with us, completely from scratch. But it's also a very for people that are coming from our older system all orders, they've enjoyed this functionality. So the the kind of the concept is we're doing repairs for inventory that we own, or we're doing repairs for a customer. Okay, we're doing repairs for something that maybe we sold to that customer a while back. It has a warranty. Maybe they're just bringing it to us so we can repair it. Okay. So those scenarios. So we can repair it on our own and we can repair for a customer. The first thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go to our preferences, company preferences, and repair orders, and you're going to enable the repair order. The next two are really just very simplistic preferences. The first preference is exactly what I just said. If the serial numbers, if this works by serial number. Okay, so the item that you're repairing has to have the checkbox lot or serial number. Doesn't matter whether you're repairing it for a customer, it has to be serialized because we keep track of those serial numbers, and that's important. And then it's just where you're putting the item as it's coming in to be repaired. So we put it into a bin. Instead of having to select the bin every time, I'm going to put it into a default bin. So I decided to put it in A3. Those are the only two preferences that we really need. The other thing is when you do an internal repair order, you'll see that it asks you for an account, because if you end up writing off, if something comes in and you end up writing it off, we're going to need an account for that, okay, to write it off, right? So that's why we're asking for an account. Or maybe one of the things you can do with an internal repair order, which I'll go through in a second, is that you could add costs, right? So, let's say you buy something and instead of putting it on a work order, you want to just add some costs like, labor or consume components and add it to the value of that item. You can use a repair order. Okay, so it's not only for repairs, it's also for adding parts and adding things that as an alternative to the work order. Okay. So as I said, there's two types of orders. There are internal repair orders and there are external repair orders. Okay, so the external repair order happens when a customer, and I'll go through that flow, but we'll start off with an internal repair order. Okay. Start off with an internal repair order. So I'm going to create a new repair order, right? And this is the estimated completion date. This is the date of the repair order. So I can put like that. And then this is a type, right? So the types of repair order is a profile list. It's a profile list. Right? So this is an account, like I mentioned. We'll just put it into any account there. It doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to pick an item. Right? So this item over here, and I'm going to pick a serial number of the ones that I have in stock. And it's an HQ, and it's in the floor, and I'm going to fix quantity of one. Then I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to say I have some descriptions and internal notes. We also can create custom fields as well. So I go ahead and save that, and then we're back to this repair order, this internal repair order, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna fix some things in this repair order. Okay. Now in here, this is the movement history of this item. So I can see here that we received this serial number on this receiver. And like everything else, you know, you have your attachments, you have your open activities, activity history, etc. This is another profile list, which is very useful and that you can use for reporting, which is called the problem codes. So a lot of times you might set up some problem codes. I don't have any, so I'm going to go to the profile list here. Go to my profile list, and the problem codes are under repair. All right. So the problem codes are basically just like codes. And so you can kind of see if you have a piece of machinery that keeps on, you know, this is a problem code. Maybe something went wrong with the internal, whatever that is. Okay, and then you have another problem code that could be whatever. No, I don't know. So you have these problem codes. The thing about the problem codes, if you have a lot of repair orders and you're doing a report and it keeps on coming back with the same problem codes, it's a way for you to analyze that. Okay, so I can add the problem codes right here. By the way, the reason I had to refresh, just refresh. So here's the problem code. I can put a description and more description, and the problem codes also have custom fields. Okay. Now, I could basically look at this and say these are my actions. All right. I can of course create a PDF of that, but these are my actions that I can do for an internal repair order. Someone is not muted.
Yeah, he does.
Thank you. I can write it off. In other words, writing off creates an adjustment for this. I can put it back into inventory, or I can create a vendor return. And one of these will, or I can repair it. So let's say I decide that, you know, in order to repair this, I need to add an item. I need to add this, whatever, this item, and that's my estimated quantity. All right. Now I can allocate this, and if I allocate it, it will, you know, it will create a value for this item. It's not a very big value, but you can see that I can keep on. I can also add repair, like the labor as well. There's nothing stopping me from adding labor. Okay, as well. Now, of course, I can come in here and I can see what's available and add the bins. It's the same thing as if you kind of any ship dock, or it's just a component, it's just an item that's getting consumed. We're consuming this item in this repair order. We're consuming it. Okay. We're consuming the item. At this point, if I go return to inventory, it'll do. So let me approve that. Again, you can have certain people approve. So I'm going to return that to inventory. Okay, and that closes the inventory. What that had done is it created a value adjustment, because as you noted, I added $25 to this item. All right, so there it is. It created a value adjustment and it added $25.10 inside. Okay. That's an internal repair order. That's an internal repair order. Pretty straightforward. It's almost kind of quasi work orderish type of. If you're familiar with a production, very similar in a way to a work order. Okay. Now, when you're creating repairs for a specific customer, let me go back to the profile list and look at this thing here. So we have the warranty types. You're familiar already with the warranty types. You know, that comes into play a lot more with the repair orders and the problem codes. Now this is the repair type, and by default we have three repair types. Okay, we have repair, so that's internal. And then we have 3 for customer, return and repair for customer, meaning that the customer just wants us to repair it. We never take ownership of that inventory. They send it to us, we repair it, we send it back. Okay. And then we have repair and return for stock. They're actually going to return it to you, and they want a refund or they want a credit or whatever. Okay. And then there is return and replace, which is kind of the most, involved out of everything. The most involved out of everything. I'll probably do an example of both of these. Let's go ahead, and I can create new ones. For example, if I wanted to create one, called warranty repair. Okay, and that would be a type of repair and return for customer. So that's a profile list. All right. Now the other setup point is under admin, again under profile list, this time under item groups. You'll notice a new item group called repair item group. Okay. It's behind the scenes, it's a service item. It's a service item. But it just behaves in a certain way. Like when you see this item, an item that has this group in QuickBooks, for example, it will show up as a service item. Because that's what you're doing. You're providing some kind of a service. And on my items list, I have an item called repairs. There it is. Showing some of that. So this is just a regular item. It just happens to be in a different group. There's really no different from any other item that you have. The only thing that this is different, I don't have it on here. Let me just, is that, okay, that's one sales order. Just do one thing here. Is that you could set the components. It's like a bill of materials in a way. So if you know that every time I issue a repair, I got to add labor and this component and that component and that component, that's what that's for. So I don't have to re-add it all the time to the repair order. And so it's just like, a component, and I just pick it like that. I put the quantity per. Okay. So that would be, a typical thing that I could do. And if I have those components, that means the cost of this item will be the standard cost of these 2 items, which is that. So this is a repair item. All right. I had previously sold to this customer. I'd previously sold one of the Mac 09s. This. Oh, that's a sales order. Sorry. Let's go to the ship doc. So there is what they sold them, and I happen to provide them with a warranty of the number of days, starting from this date, from the date of the ship doc. I coded that as part of the item. Actually, when you set up your item, you can actually by default have the default warranty like that. So you don't have to retype it in every time. But you could do it on an order by order basis. Okay, you could do it on an order by order basis. So I had previously sold that. There it is. To this customer. Now they want us to repair it. Okay, so we're going to repair it. So we're going to create another sales order, just like I would create any other sales order. Now I'm not going to add the Mac. I'm going to add repair, the repair item that I just created, right? That one here. And it goes into another screen, which basically looks exactly like the internal repair order, but this time it has a price. Okay, this time it has a price. Tax code. And this is where you say, you know, customer issue with, and then, so I'm going to actually do repair. And we're going to do a warranty repair. I'm going to do the Mac 09. And I'm going to pick that one. And as you can see here, well, my warranty is still in effect, so I'm going to change the price to 0. We're not going to charge them for that. I have my description if I had any custom fields, and I go save. Ooh, let's do that. Save. All right, so now I have a repair order. I have a sales order that really is going to kind of link to the repair order. So here it is. So now we have the repair order. And I'm gonna change this. You can see that the repair order, the repair order is still waiting for approval. So I go back to here. We really can't start it until we approve it. What we could do on the repair order, if we wanted to, is we can kind of start to estimate what the, you know, what it's going to cost to fix it. So you can see the standard costs. See it here as it's updated. Go back to the repair order, approve that. All right. And now the repair order is ready to kind of go. Go back to my repair order list. You'll see I can add a column for customer here too. So I can see which customers are giving me the most, repair orders as well. Right. Now, interesting enough, with this one over here, I can see that, oh, it's already been, part of a repair order as well. So both of these have the same kind of, repair. It's on the same repair order. So I can see the repair history of every serial number. Here is, see back. So now when we receive it from the customer, we put the receive date. We go ahead and fix our order. And at that point, once the order is completed, we just do a ship doc. Just do a ship doc, and that closes off the order. In this case, we're still doing a ship doc because there is a transaction. It's just we're not charging for it, but there is a transaction, and that shuts down, that closes off our work order, and it's done. Our repair order. Much more complicated one is we'll do that one again. This time I'm going to do repair and replace. I can assign it to an employee specifically. Now this repair order has a number of actions as well, because it's kind of, we're expected to kind of get it back. So the first thing, we can obviously create a customer return. So we get the customer return, right? So that returns it back to our inventory. Okay. So I'm kind of doing all that from a repair order without having to go and individually do that. Okay. I can also issue a replacement sales order. So there's my replacement sales order, and it just goes through the general flow of there, and then we basically say replacement for lot number. Okay. And then I'm determining that this is, I'm going to write it off. It's no good. So we're going to write it off. And that is an adjustment that takes it out of inventory. Questions?
We had one question. What if you're repairing an item without a serial number?
Cannot do it. Got to be serialized.
What if we've never serialized anything in our stock before?
The reason we do it by serial number is because, we're doing a lot of adjustments and a lot of adding value and trying to track specific serial numbers. We don't want to adjust the entire inventory. We just want to adjust one serial number. So that's why we do it that way. So if you've never done that before, any ideas, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly something that we'll have to revisit. This is the first version of the repair order for order time. So,
Right.
for right now, we're just kind of getting it going, but we're open to suggestions. That's one of the reasons we're doing this. We can have a forum to hear what everybody has to say. So,
Okay.
But generally, it makes sense because we're talking about machinery, a lot like computer equipment, machinery, things that you're building with serial numbers that you can track. And as you can see, there's a fair amount of goings on with serial numbers. This is just specifically for this serial number,
Right.
not every serial number that was there. We wouldn't be able to kind of do that with this
Right.
movement history or anything like that.
well, some of the other stuff also falls apart. Like anything with warranties, it becomes a lot trickier to be able to reliably say, there's any type of a warranty, which a lot of our user base likes to use. So, that is one of the reasons we try and at least have some type of unit specific tracking going on.
So there is a good question. So let's say we do get a serial. Let's say, now remember I turned on this thing over here in this preference over here.
Mm-hmm.
I turned on that we could, for customer repairs, okay, repair orders, adding serial numbers if not contained on the list. All right. So let's say we do have a new sales order for some random customer. They've never maybe even purchased from us before. And they bring in an order. They bring in a repair. It's the same idea. You know, item. This time I have two little things here. I can go get next or just add any random serial number here. So I'm going to do that. Okay. That's it. It's never been in my inventory, but now I can fix it.
And that's to answer your question, Brian, and your question, Allison.
Right. Thanks, Brian.
And also there's documentation for everything you've seen here. Like there's a section just for repair orders in our knowledge base. I'm going to kind of link dump that in the chat right now.
And of course, you have your full cadre of a new source now for repair orders. There they are. All right, so you have all the repair orders, the problem code, the link transactions, the serial numbers, all that good stuff. And your dashboard goes from those reports. When we originally came up with the repair order, we were working with a specific customer, and this methodology reduced their repair order time to fulfill by 70%. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Brian.
definitely. If you have implementation questions, you can email support@ordertime.com and create a ticket, and we can definitely help you out with it.
Yep.
And the links that I put in chat, the first one is just to the whole repair section. The second one shows you how to enable it and the preferences that he showed you. And then the other two are for internal repair orders and external repair orders. And I'll also include these in the email that goes out after this, along with the recording of everything you've seen here. Does anyone else have any specific questions for like about repair orders or about the reports that he was just showing?
Yeah, I sent a question, but you didn't notice. It's about service items. Service items have only expense account, but when you're using inventory parts, it should affect COGS.
Are you
So I don't see how
talking about an internal repair order or an external repair order?
Well, it doesn't really matter which one because you're using parts from your inventory. So in my understanding, this should affect your cost of goods sold and not go to expense account. So that's my question.
Okay. All right. So the question is a good question. And we'll look at an internal repair order first. Remember which one I did. If I did this one. Yeah, this one. I used up these components, right? And then I said return to inventory. So these components got consumed and included in the cost of this inventory. It's not a cost of goods entry, right? All I'm doing is moving these costs to this product. And the way we effectuate that is with a value adjustment. That's why we have this trend. This goes into QuickBooks now or accounting and updates the cost of this serial number, of this lot number. Okay. We'll take a look at the report that I was just showing you. This right here. See that? So we received it and then we add, that's all we're doing here. For this one over here, there are other transactions. There's the customer return that's coming back. There's the adjustment. Remember, we we returned it from the customer. The customer returned it back to us. So it hit back our inventory and said, no, we have to write this off. So we did an adjustment from the repair order. So what the repair order is doing is it's linking other adjustments to other transactions together to get to where you want to go in terms of the inventory valuation.
And we have another question. Is the employee list?
By the way,
pulling-
when it goes into QuickBooks, the external repair order, it does add those components to the invoice. So you have the service item with the price, and then all the components below it with zero price. So it does go in, and it does take out those inventory items in QuickBooks if you're syncing the inventory. Any other questions?
Yeah, we have another one from Brian. Is the employee list pulling from the sales rep list or the user list?
The employee list is pulling from the employees and other names list. This one. Because not every person that gets assigned a task may be a user. That's the idea.
Gotcha. And I'll add that to the documentation in the follow-up email. Can I have a sales rep assigned to the sales order and then an employee different from the sales rep on the repair order?
Yes. Of course. Different lists. One of them is a sales rep list, profile list. Right? Sales rep list. That's over here. That would go in the sales order. That would go into the sales rep list. One of these, and then the other one would be the employee name list.
Gotcha. And he said perfect. Are there any other specific questions?
To track technicians, would we run a repair order? Go ahead. I didn't read that full thing. Sorry.
Yeah, it was to track technician productivity. Would we run a repair order report or a ship doc report?
You'd run a repair order report. You'd run a repair order report to see how, comparing the date of completion to the date of the order. Remember we have on the repair order list, we have the estimated completion date and the date. So this is like the promise date in a way, right? If they're not completing it by this date, there's something going on, right? And you can obviously add the column here for employee, or yeah, there it is. So you can run reports as to who has what. And it would go off of the repair order report. So I'll just put a couple of things in here so you get the idea. It's not very good, but there it is.
Well, you could obviously make it more detailed by adding a bunch more columns. If
Yeah.
he wanted a time to complete, like, would that be a custom field, or do we have like a field that is the exact amount of time it took to complete?
What you can do is you can do a custom field, like a like a diff, date diff, right? Calculated field. And you can do a calculation between the completion date,
And the start date.
the close date. There is another date here called the close date,
Oh, okay.
and either the completion date or the date itself, in terms of how long it takes to complete it.
Yeah. And that would be the difference, which would be the exact time to complete.
In days. Yeah. Something like do it on the repair order and item. Integer. There's a date diff, right? So the difference between should be date. Anyways, that's the way you would do that.
Yeah, I think it has to go in the other order of the close date and then the receive date because it's minusing it.
All right.
But yeah, we can include instructions to you on how to create that custom field too, Brian, so that you can add it to your report. And any other specific questions before we end off? Okay, a workflow question. Create one sales order, add a diagnostic as a repair group item, create the repair order, complete the diagnostic, close the repair. On same sales order, add recommended services as a second repair order.
Okay. Create one sales order, add diagnostic as repair.
So the idea is that I'm thinking that as long as we possess a customer's item, we want to have a sales order open. So, and we generally do think of the diagnostic as being separate from the actual recommended services, because sometimes the diagnostic results in a customer saying, you know what, it's not worth it, go ahead and recycle it, or I'll just pick it up and not fix it. Just like when you go to an auto repair shop, you might have them investigate a squeaky sound coming from your car, and they say, well, it's not harming your car, and it's going to take $1,000 to identify it. You'll say, okay, I'll live with the squeaky sound, right? So the idea is that you'd have one sales order because that one sales order reflects the fact that we still possess the item. But then you'd have two different repair orders, one for the diagnostic and then one for the recommended services. And if they come back and say, oh, we don't want to do the recommended services, we would add a line, a non-inventory service, which would say no work done or customer declined. And then we would close the repair order.
You can do that, yeah, absolutely. But I think you would have to close one repair order first.
And that's okay, because that's what we would do. We would, as soon as the diagnostic is done, we would close it, but we want the sales order to be open because because we still have this person's device. Right?
It will be open until you actually create the ship doc. Even the ship doc doesn't have any zero. It can have all zeros, but it'll be open until the ship doc is created.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Great question. And I think that's the end of the questions in the chat. And I think that'll end off the meeting today. Any final notes, Ian?
No, but like I said, I mean, it's a early on in the repair order, and like Josh said as well, we'll take some recommendations if we can fit it in. We'll be more than happy to do that.
Definitely. All right. Have a good one, everybody, and thank you for attending.